How's it going, guys? How we doing? What's new? What's fresh? Oh, we got Blazin. What's up, buddy? We got Rio over on the YouTube side. Moto Fizzy 8i. How's it going? How's everybody doing today? Oh, who, me? I'm having a great day. Slept well, and yeah, had a good breakfast, and spent the morning on a very fun Zoom call, getting onboarded into a new wedding corporate band. Trying to get your site to load. Oh no, what is happening? You might have to go up and make sure that the URL is HTTP, not HTTPS. I know this is like an issue a few people have. The link should redirect directly to HTTP, but some people's browsers try to do HTTPS and then it doesn't work. So you can check that. You might try it on a different browser if possible or something. We're still working out that part of it. But yeah, I will be touring and performing with the Jordan Kahn Music Company. Hey, Dooley, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you. Yes, that's kind of exciting. Apparently they do like international flight dates and stuff, but I got referred to them by a good friend of mine, named Barth, who's a great keyboard player here in town. And yeah, I will be doing some weddings with them this year, it looks like, or corporate gigs or something. It's a very cool band. They're like very high end. They apparently are the house band for the final show of The Bachelor every season, and they've like done private parties for like Mark Cuban and shit. I don't know, it's cool. So that'll be nice. We like work. But other than that, no, we've got another action-packed day on stream. We are going to be working on 2 different projects today. We're going to do a couple of feedbacks. We're giving it, I don't know, 3 slots, maybe 5 slots for feedback at the top of the hour here. So anybody who wants some feedback, go ahead, ! feedback. As you guys know, gets you the link. I see Blazing Beats in there already. We love it. So yeah, we'll do, I don't know, a handful of feedbacks, a couple here. And then jump into working on, first we're going to be doing another track for this new IVN project, which will be fun, just like mellow, kind of lo-fi-ish vibe. So we're going to start with that because it should be pretty quick and easy, but pretty neat. And then we're going to jump back into working a little bit more on Order 1. We have the next marching order there. And let me see if we have, hang on, I need to fire off a quick Discord message to the devs. 1 second here. Streaming today, gonna start, sorry, I'm in the dev chat with the devs for Order 1. I need to ask them for references for the track that we're gonna do today, which I will explain what it is in a second. Cloning pod theme / menu placeholder later this afternoon. Do you guys have any references? References. And that's not how you spell the word you. And the word cloning does not begin with a D. And guys has a Y in it. Good Lord, I'm terrible at typing today. Great. Okay. So the piece that we're going to be doing for Order 1 is very cool. We are, they are potentially talking to a publisher, and they have a demo that they are going to send to the publisher, but they need a couple of like placeholder tracks to fill spots that ultimately are going to have music that is written by Pavel, this amazing other composer that we get to work with on that game. But they need something that's just going to go there for the time being. So we're going to kind of do a little twofer here. We need a track, ultimately for the actual release of the game, we're going to need a track for the sort of checkpoint areas in between the different sectors of the open world. But we're going to kind of dual purpose that for the time being. I'm just going to do a version of it, an initial version that can also be used as like main menu placeholder music for this demo for these publishers. So that's like a whole thing. But that is what we're going to be working on after this, after the track for the IDN. So that is our marching orders for today, so to speak. I'm noticing my camera is off center. Hang on a second. I need to fix that. That's going to drive me crazy. Oh, wrong direction. There we go. Now up. There we go. Now we're nice and centered. Okay. So, we are, of course, going to do a couple of feedbacks at the beginning here. We've got Blazin, we've got Dooley. And I'm excited to hear what you guys have going on. So let's jump over and put ourselves in feedback mode. And let's check out Blazin' Beats track. Let me make sure that this is working. Hang on. No, we need that, and then we need filters. We need that. And, oh, and I need my piano. Can't not have my piano. That's very important. And I don't want 9,000 pounds of reverb on it, at least for the time being. Okay. Hey, Blazin'. Let's check out your track. Excellent. I hope the things I mentioned were good, but not bad.
The corrupt elite have been harvesting our data and our lives,
That's right,
while slowly erasing our liberties. The underground resistance must rise if we are to maintain our individuality and freedom. We will not become a number and owned by tech corporations. The underground resistance must rise if we are to maintain our individuality and freedom. We will not become a number and owned by tech corporations. harvesting.
Very, very nice. Yeah, I definitely hear a lot of what you did here. It definitely feels like it flows better and it keeps interest. I would still add, there's just one final thing that I would probably add in the third groove section. Which is, hang on one second here. Ooba-dooba-dooba-doo. Oh. Ah, shit. My VPN is on. I would add, I'll turn the VPN off and reboot stream before we get into work, but we don't really need it right now. I would add a 16th note hi-hat in this last section. Because it's just kind of it's like quarter note hi-hat right now. I would bring in a pretty aggressive, like over that vibe. Because it's going to amp the energy up and really sell it as like the full groove end of the tune. Quarter note hat is usually something that still feels pretty buildy. Yeah, 16th note. Yeah, so just like right now you have a quarter note, chat, 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 chat. 8th note would be chat, 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 chat. I would even go for a 16th. I'd play my drums, but they're not. My system's a little borked at the moment. Yeah, that is what I think that would be a good addition. Other than that, I think it definitely it feels better. It feels more dynamic all the way through. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. Kick, I don't recall exactly what I said last time mix wise. Kick is hot, and snare I could definitely use more of. I remember the snare being still a little bit quiet in the whole thing last time. So I definitely use more snare, and then the kick feels like a little out front for my taste here. But no, it's very, very cool, man. It's very cyberpunky. It's very vibey. It's a very, very cool track. So keep working on it. I love it. And you're like 95% there. Yeah. It's very small stuff. There's more snare, less kick, and then I'd play around with just like a more intense full groove at the end there. So, I don't have one screen. There's another screen up there. I just have them vertically stacked like a mad lad. It just works well that way. But yes, they are stacked. That's an ultra wide on the bottom and 1440 grading monitor, like a designed for as a reference monitor for color grading on top. It's a BenQ. It's very, very nice. But anyway, thank you for sharing, Blazin. It sounds fantastic and coming along fine, just fine. Excuse me. Okay, duly noted. You are up next, my friend. What you got going on? I don't need mouse space because I use a trackball, which is a vastly superior mousing device. For editing, for fine-grained editing, trackball is the one and the only. It is the way, the truth, the light. None shall know good, clean editing maneuvers without a trackball. Very important part of my life, the trackball. I've used them for many, many, many years, and I swear by them. So Dooley, you started on this track today. Very cool. Basically just, it's very much work in progress, so we will keep that in mind. But let's check it out.
DJ underscore Flyman wants feedback
What,
on
man?
this.
How's it going?
Your body's all I want, but you don't seem ready for the heat. Oh yeah, I don't need to flaunt it. Everything I got is what you need. What you gonna do now? You can't get my love no more. Better move, go walk on right out the door. Don't really care, I just want you so out my life. This is goodbye. So you think you better now. Think you better now. Think you better now. Think you better now. Baby, you can go with the flow. Follow me, let me be in control. Wait and see. All I want in the world, your company, sweet company. You leave me lonely, never stick around to hold me. Stay a minute more than slowly. Walk out the door. Don't need no problems, no. Don't need no pain. I came for one thing, so don't get in my way.
Sick. Great starting point. That's for sure. It grooves, it moves. I like all the different sort of section ideas that you have. Obviously, there's some like transition-y stuff connected to little, riseries, reverse crashes, all that kind of stuff. I think what I'm hearing there, hey, isn't the texture of it. It's a really busy, very active bass part that's moving around quite a bit. And I think that you might want to simplify that a little bit here. Like I hear it's almost like what somebody would play on a bass, which is cool. But the thing that you're going to run into there, especially with drum and bass, is okay. The part will change. Yeah, I would simplify it. Yeah, I would simplify it quite a bit. That is all I will. By Cheto, how's it going? Good to see you. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Because yeah, there's a funky thing that happens, especially with real subby synthy bass stuff. It can just become kind of hard to differentiate the notes, and because drum and bass is always at such high tempos, like having it moving around that much feels a little destabilizing it. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, yeah, this is my little music spaceship. But other than that, mix feels well balanced already. I like the vocals a lot.
Walk on right out the door. Don't really care, I just want you so out my life. This is goodbye.
I like all the synths that you've picked. Vocal placement is also in final. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, there could be room for a real high melody kind of counterpoint to what the vocals are doing. Like a piano somewhere up there could be kind of cool. A lot of reverb. Really simple, just a couple of notes. Not something real. Because a lot of your synths are already quite active and doing a lot. So having a melodic elements that's a texture counterpoint to the vocals in the same register, but then really simple, open, like bum, 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 like real simple. Like that will be a nice counterpoint, part wise to all the other synth stuff. I think would be really cool. But it's great, man. It sounds lovely, especially for just like one day. I think it's an excellent starting point. So great work. Great work indeed. And thank you very much for sharing, as always. I love to hear stuff that's fresh off the presses. Let's see here. So yeah, I appreciate it. Hate, you are up next. Sound Design Fest, Hate says. Very, very good. We have a bot. We have a bot that needs banning. Just pausing while I'm thinking about it. This kick, I want a little more from this kick right now. It's got good low end presence, but it doesn't. I want more like transient from it. I want more snap, and like, yeah, chest pushy slap kind of. Dang. Goodness gracious. By the way, just so we've got no slots left for today for feedback, just so folks know. I am going to go ahead and close queue because we have a lot of work to do today. Your sound design, as always, is immaculate. I guess if you pulled back on that kick intentionally, that's certainly a creative choice you can make. I still kind of want more from it. I mean, I think in general, somebody said your like switch ups and change ups and all that stuff are crazy, which they are in a really, really good way. They're extremely creative and extremely cool. On a track like this, just for me personally, on a track like this, I kind of, especially at the end, it's a little like I always gravitate towards groove, right? I talk about groove all the time. I talk about people like leaning into tracks, and I would just say as a general thought, it is very chaotic, and it puts me in a space where your grooves are phenomenal. The grooves are fantastic, and I want to lean into them. And like a switch up, a change up, a crazy moment of transitional sound design is very cool. But if it's every other bar, it starts to feel less like a track and like a banger that I can really lean into and like start moving to, and more like a technical exercise almost. Like you see this sometimes in jazz with jazz players, where like guys will go to school and they'll get like a master's degree from UNT, or they'll get a degree from the New School or something, and then you try to, like, Jacob Collier's a really good example of this. Didn't think he went to school, but he's just like an insane music theory genius. And they write songs that are on a technical level wildly impressive and have extremely advanced chord changes and harmony and melodies and all kinds of wacky shit going on. And if you look at it from that perspective of like, oh, I'm going to do a theory analysis on this Jacob Collier piece, he's using, microtonal harmony and all like insane stuff. And it's very cool and it's very technical and it's very impressive, but there's not a lot of like vibe there. There's not a lot of like, wow, this is just a great song that I can jam to. And I think that there is, for sure. No, and it's good to do those things, but yeah, like I would do one of two things. I would either take the housey section, this section, and then the halftime section, this groove, and make each of those sections 2 or even maybe 4 times longer, but keep the same number of switch ups and transitions that you have, so that they're just more spaced out, so that you've got a solid 4 bars of and you're just like in it and it's great. And then there's a cool set. But when it's like literally every single other bar, I keep wanting to lock in and wanting to dive into the groove and be like, God, this is a delicious groove. And then a crazy thing happens and I have to kind of stop and I'm like, whoa, that was crazy. Okay, cool. The groove's back. Okay, now the groove's back. And it's the ADHD producer music for sure. But that, it's and I respect and appreciate that aspect of it very much. But yeah, I think like it wouldn't even take like a ton of work. I don't think, like, I could hear this song being, I think it's, 3 minutes. I could hear it being 4 minutes and just literally, yeah, it's almost 3 on the nose. Have it be 4 and, yeah, exactly. And then just like make those sections longer and spread the fills and stuff out a little bit more. And I think it would really feel like a track, and really like have this whole ending thing that people just like would freak out over. So yeah, that would kind of be my thought here. I mean, other than that, like obviously the mix is spot on. Like I said, the grooves are great. The sound design's immaculate. All of that stuff for yourself. Very dragged out and groovy in this kind of exception. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean that, again, it's just a thought, just a reflection of what I'm getting from it. So, but no, I mean all the other elements of it are great, are spot on. So excellent work on that front. I mean, excellent work across the whole thing. It's a great track. Yeah, thank you for sharing it, man. I always appreciate you and love seeing you in here. But we've got just 2 more quick feedbacks here. Flyman and Bichetto. Dooley, I see a second one from you. I don't think we'll have time to do multiple for folks today because we do have a fair bit of work that we need to dive into. But if you have a different track, I would be happy to check it out tomorrow. But up next is going to be Flyman. I haven't seen you in a bit, Flyman. How you been, buddy? I hope you're doing well. And yeah, I saw you asking about the little guys on screen. Yeah, so this is a thing called Intro Fighter. And it's just like a game that you guys can play quote unquote. But anytime you chat, anytime you type anything in chat, it'll drop your little dude in and you bonk each other and, been very sick. Oh no, I'm so sorry. That's no good. Well, hopefully we'll hanging out in here. We'll making some music can help cure what ails you. But let's check out what you got going on here. Working in FL. Yeah. I always know it's a Flyman track because the first thing I hear is this beautiful white noise wash. And it's so expansive and lovely. I love it. Melody. Very nice. It is a very DJ Flyman track. I will say, I mean, just first of all, it sounds great. Mix is really, really nice. I love your unique, your ever present unique combination of like extremely like pleasant and gentle and happy. But then like really aggressive, like pounding sort of trance grooves. And the lasers and stuff. It's just it's a sound palette that is very distinctly you. And that's just kind of, this is a general thought for you. I have heard quite a few of your tracks, Flyman, and you have a tendency, and this is not a bad thing. This is not a criticism. It's just something that I will say so that you can think about it. You have a tendency to follow a very common structure in a lot of your productions, where you have a nice big build that comes into a nice melody, and then you drop and it goes to acoustic guitars strumming chords, and it's a really nice long break, and then the melody will come back in halfway through, and then you build, and then you have a 1 bar extra drum fill that then goes into the back half of the track. Again, I say that not to be like, oh, that's bad, because that's like your vibe. That's kind of your signature thing. And I think that it's good to have, I have my sort of arrangements that I like to reach for and chord progressions that I like to reach for. Like, we all have our kind of our thing, you know, that's like part of our signature sound. I only mention it because it's something that I always like recommend being aware of and trying to temper and be like, should I do that in, like, if I'm going to do that again in this next new track, is that really what I want to do? Or is there a potential here to do something a little bit new or a little bit more, a little bit more interesting? Drew, I appreciate the request for feedback there. Unfortunately, the queue is closed. We just have time to do a couple today before we need to get into work. So sorry, my friend. But I will be, if you tune in top of the hour tomorrow, I would be happy to check out your track. Since this will be part of the album you're working on, I kind of want the tracks to have some sort of familiarity. Yeah, for sure. And that's totally fine. Again, that's why it's like, I'm not saying like, oh, this is something you shouldn't do. But just as a thought, like if I were to listen to a record and every single track on the record, or, 80% of the tracks on the record, had a break to acoustic guitars strumming the chords at the same kind of point in the composition, that might be a cool signature on a couple of the tracks, but I might risk getting a little bit predictable after a while. So that's just a general thought for you. Again, not saying change it. I think it's a cool, like, signature thing that you do that's really unique to your tracks. I've never heard another track do that. And so I think it's super neat. And I don't think you should not do it at all. I just, again, I'm saying it so that it's something that, because I've talked to producers and like, they don't even realize that they do that kind of stuff. Andy, hey buddy, good to see you. It's been a while. How you been, man? Other than that, you said, thinking about the melodies, that it feels like it goes to a minor scale. So it does, but there is, at the end of the day, there is no difference between a major scale and a minor scale. They are the same thing. So what really is dictating that here, what key are you in on this? Are you in E flat? Hang on. Yeah, so you're in the key of E flat, right? And really what's happening here, there we go. Your chord progression is right. That's E flat, C minor, F minor, B flat major, back to E flat. But all of those things are part of the, I have my keyboard transposed just so it's easier for me to play it. All of those things are, all of those chords and all of those scales are just the E flat major scale, right? All of those notes, all of those shapes are taken from the same common place. That's what I mean when I say all of, like, a major scale, a minor scale. Oh, thank you, Baichado. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So it's not, it's kind of a funky thing, right? Is it considered major? Is like yes and no. It's considered major in the sense that they are all modes. We call this modes, right? Modes is just the idea of taking any major scale and starting and ending that scale on different notes. So like if we go to the key of C here, which is actually what I'm physically playing in, but we'll turn the transposition off. So we go to the key of C, and I just take my basic C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Right? And I start and end that same sequence on a D, the second note of that scale. But I play all the same notes. I just start on a D and end on a D. And I play, with D as my root note, my tonic note. It is D minor. It's what we call D Dorian minor. Each of these modes has a name in Greek: Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian, Ionian. But we don't really need to worry about that. What matters is it's just C is our root. Then we play the notes of the C major scale, starting on D and ending on D, the second note. It makes a minor sound. Do the same thing with E. It makes a type of minor scale. Same thing with F. Makes a type of major scale. G makes another type of major scale called a Mixolydian or a dominant. Right? A, the sixth mode. Again, these are all just the same notes of C. You can see on screen I'm doing nothing but playing white keys here. Makes a minor scale. Seventh one is really ugly. Call that Locrian. It's the form of diminished scale. We don't use it. Ignore the seventh one. We don't care about it. But this is what gives us chord progressions. That is all just playing around in the key of C. I've heard though of diminished chords being needed. Oh, so absolutely. There's multiple different types there's multiple different ways to think about diminished chords. Locrian is just a weird one. We ignore Locrian. It's not even really. It's like a diminished flat 5. It's a half diminished. It's a minor 7 flat 5. Ignore it. Diminished chords are a whole separate thing. A diminished chord is just stacking minor third intervals on top of itself. So like C to E flat to G flat to A to C is a true full diminished. And you can do kind of move up. And diminished chords are used typically as passing chords between other chords. So like that would be using a chromatic diminished passing chord to get to the 2 minor. So you can definitely use them in lots and lots of different ways. What's up, Cakes? Good to see you. When you say mode, does that mean what note your melody uses on top of different chords? Not quite, but you're on the right track. The mode is just this shape, right? So like that's our C major scale. The second mode of C major means starting on the second note, ending on the second note, and playing the chord made up, the triad made up of that. So the modes of C in full are played as chords. The modes of C played as scales. Right? You see? So it is taking each of those sequences and we just give each of those a name. And it lets us create chord progressions really, really easily that all stay inside of one key, inside of one scale. All of that is just each of those are different chords. And you would say that each of those are different chords that contain different scales, but it's all secretly the same scale, right? It's just where you're starting and where you're ending. I hope that makes sense. So to bring it all the way back around to your track, Flyman, your progression here right? All of that fits over E flat major. So your melody is really just moving around an E flat major. But because you're moving the chords underneath it, it's like it goes to a minor scale. It does, but that minor scale is still just the key of E flat. And so it's like when you go to the minor that you go to is C minor and then F minor, right? Both of those scales are just E flat. Right? No, your melody is not off key at all. Your melody is phenomenal. Your melody is great and leads very, very naturally over those changes. And this is the fun way to play with it is to take chord progressions like that and just play the scale of the key. So like, again, if we move it to C, I can just sit there and do that. Just the first 5 notes of the C major scale. And it all works because each of those is recontextualizing the scale into a new tonal area. So over C, it sounds major. Over A, it sounds minor. Over F, it sounds major. Over G, it sounds major. Over E, it sounds minor. A again. And then you go crazy. Yeah. So all of that is just some additional context for you. Bottom line, your melody is great. Your melody makes perfect sense. No, it doesn't go out of key. Your chord progression goes to a minor chord, but the melody that you're playing is really just lives inside of one scale, right? And it's just all about where you're starting and ending that scale and using that as as context for that moment in a piece of music. Docs again today? How do you mean? How do you mean, Cakes? What docs are we talking about? Right now I'm just rambling about music theory. is mostly what we're up to. No, if the feedback queue is working, we're just, I'm doing just a couple of feedbacks here at the top, and then we're going to get into work here in a minute because we have a bunch of work to do. But yeah, so other than that, Flyman, this is a really, really nice track. I think the melody is great. You know, your sound choices are always really, really nice. The mix feels pretty good. It's maybe like a little bit bright. You know, like just looking at the RTA here, like there is quite a bit of energy up at the very, very upper end of the frequency spectrum. So you could potentially, it shouldn't link to the form. Where did it link to the form? That's super weird. Hang on. Let me go make sure how would that have changed? That's really, really, really bizarre. I don't know why it is doing that. What? That's super weird. Yeah, no, now it's not even working. What is happening? Oh, my VPN is still on. That's what's going on. We'll have to turn that off in a second. Anyways, It doesn't matter. Q is closed anyways, so it's okay. I'll make sure everything's I'll double check everything before tomorrow, before we're back doing more feedback tomorrow. So, technology, it's just fantastic. Anyway, yes, the track is really, really nice, Flyman. Again, like a little bit bright maybe on that top end with all the like white noise wash stuff. It sounds nice. I just might, you know, you don't want it to get like too overly bright because that can make things feel a little bit bracing. But it's great. Your melodies are always lovely. Your chord progressions are always really, really nice. The shape of your tracks, you know, dynamically is always nice. So I love it. And thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. We've got one more feedback here by Cheto, new friend of the channel. So let's go ahead and check that out. And then we will go ahead and get into getting some work done. But we've got a very experienced producer. Sounds like it. Very cool. Mainly looking for feedback just on the mix here, working in FL. I love it. Where did you source these vocals from? So classic. I love it. Good hook. Drums out. Okay, cool. This is really nice. This is like absolutely classic, like late 90s, early aughts white label vibes, which is very, very cool. That's a sound that is near and dear to my heart. Little proggy, little trancy, bass is FM8. Yep. Oh yeah. Classic. So it's a good club track. I think, yeah, 150. Yeah, it is fast, but that is very much the style for this kind of a thing. So the reason I asked about the vocals is they sound. You've got some, and this may be intentional, I suppose, but you've got some saturation and some distortion going on with them that just sounds a little like clip. They're clipping a little bit, like they're some part of the chain is being overdriven a little bit. And I think there's certain styles of electronic stuff where that is very appropriate. I personally, for me on a track like this, I would want them cleaner. I don't know if that's like baked into the sample pack that you got, or if you're running them through something, but it feels to me like a compressor's maybe being hit too hard here, or like there's like a preamp on them that's like fuzzing out just a little bit. Like you can really hear it here. Like if you listen to all the sibilants, the arms to rest, that all sounds like very dulled and kind of clipped off. And so, it's some kind of saturation. It also feels like there's a de-esser on them that's working like a lot harder than it needs to, because it feels like all of that sibilant material in the original file is like, yeah, it's just getting dulled in a kind of an unnatural and unpleasant way, and it makes the vocals sound a little overly dark. And that's where you get a lot of your like enunciation and clarity from in a vocal, is in that like 4 to 7K range, which is why we use de-essers, because sometimes that range can get really out of control and be too harsh. But yeah, it feels like there's a de-esser that's clamping down too hard, and then it might be from time stretching as well, can cause this kind of artifacting.
You took me out of a wilderness, just like a diamond. You were shining right through the night, and let me stay in your arms to rest. You give me love.
You hear how in all those S's it like crunches and gets weirdly wide for a second. So there's like a lot of different things that can cause those kinds of artifacts, but it is something that I'm noticing. So again, if that's just like a part of the original sample, it kind of is what it is. But I would maybe look at your vocal chain, and if you're de-essing, I would back off on the de-essing. If you're compressing really heavily, I might back off on that. If you've got anything in that vocal chain that's adding any kind of distortion or saturation, I would back off on that. And I would EQ them a little more into what we call the air band, which is like up here, like 10K and up, like the very, very top part of the frequency spectrum. I would boost up there to just get a little bit more air and breath out of them. And then they're like a little bit woofy down in the like 300 to 400 range. So I would pull back there a little bit, just kind of balance them more towards the top. I think they'll sound really just like clean and clear and nice, which is usually what I look for in a vocal on a track, in this style. Other than that, the mix is really well balanced. It feels really polished. I can hear everything. Somebody asked about listening to the low end, which I definitely want to do, because the one thing I do feel like I'm missing a little bit of. Yeah, so and this can happen with FM synthesis, just kind of with how it sounds. It can be a little tricky to get good sub-fundamental. And I think like the kick is nice and punchy and nice and present. It's a very, very classic kick sound. I want more sub presence, low fundamental 40, 50, 60 hertz presence on the bass, so that you get really nice pumping and interplay between the bass synth and then the kick. And they're going boom, womp, boom, womp, boom, womp. Will give things a lot of bounce. Right now, the bass sound, that FM8 bass sound, is focused much more in the mid-range. And it's a great sound, very classic, kind of like tech house bass sound. It's a great sound. I just want more low end of it. And one great trick that you can do here is literally pull up like Vital or Serum or something like that and just get a pure sine wave and just double the part, but with just a pure sine wave that's like nothing but low frequency information. And that way you can blend it, and then sidechain it to your kick, obviously. And that way you can blend that in kind of to taste. So you don't have to mess with your FM8 patch. If you're really happy with where that FM8 patch is at, which I think, again, it sounds really, really good, it just gives you the ability to purely reinforce that low end of your bass synth without having to mess around with the preset or the patch or what have you. So I would bring that in behind it, sidechain it to your kick, and that'll help just fill out this like ultra low, because you can hear like we have good thump on the kick, and then you can sort of hear the bass, but you know, we're listening under 200 hertz. I would expect there to be a really strong womp 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 womp, really thick low in those, you know, on those off 8 hits that the FM8 is doing. So those are the kind of the two things that stick out to me. Got good imaging on the low end. It's not too wide. And also, I'm just ducking on the whole mix here at around 250, which is like usually a good idea kind of in all styles of music and in all mixes, because this is just a really common frequency area where things can build up a little bit and sound a little bit unpleasant. New Culture, welcome in. Good to see you. Unfortunately, feedback queue is closed for today, but I would welcome you to come swing back by tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. I will go live. We're just doing a couple of quick feedbacks at the beginning of stream today before we get into doing some work. But I would love to hear your track. But we gotta get into some work here in a moment. So, what exactly is the red outline? Should you avoid it? Red outline where? To what are you referring, Dooley? Oh, this? So this is just an imaging tool. So this shows you, when the particles hit the edge. No. I honestly have never noticed that before. I'm not sure why. That might that might indicate clipping. That also might indicate like a phase issue of some kind. I've never noticed that they do that. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I mean, this is just it is a yeah, I've never noticed that. Yeah, it might be. Well, it shouldn't be pushing beyond +1 correlation. I don't know. I'll look into that. That's interesting. I've never noticed that. Good eye. Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, you learn something new every day. But regardless, that's fun. Yeah, it might. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that would be. My instinct would be either clipping or something to do with like it trying to tell you that maybe there's a phase issue somewhere. Oh, it's telling you something. But anyways, yeah, ducking a little bit here at 250 is a piece of advice I give all the dang time. And you can just kind of hear if you let the track roll and you boost. You hear there's just kind of some woof in that region. And again, it's very common. Most mixes kind of run into this because there's just a lot of crossover with different instruments like a lot of snare drums, especially electro-y snare drums, and then like a lot of rock snare sounds have a lot of presence here that isn't necessarily the best thing in the world. And then like kicks usually have a lot of presence there. So it's just an area where you get build up. So I usually recommend notching that out. Just a little bit, 3 dB. Just helps to clean things up, make it feel a little bit tighter. So I'd probably do that. But yeah, it's a nice track. It's a great vibe. Like I said, really, really classic, old school, late 90s, early aughts vibes, which is great. Yeah, it's really nice, man. I appreciate you sharing it. Super old school, awesome vibes. So, on that note, though, we are going to transition into doing some work. Yes, no worries. Thank you, Bikejetto. It's very, very good. It's 1 minute. So we traditionally only do one track per person, Dooley. And I do genuinely need to get into doing some work here for today. It's all good. It's all good. We'll listen to it tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow. I promise. Sorry, I'm thinking. What do we have to do? Oh, right. Okay. So, work for the day. I'm a little scatterbrained. Happens to the best of us. No, so we have 2 projects that we are going to be working on today. Super, are you trying to take over the lights? Is that what's happening back there? I just realized the lights are not doing what they normally do. Good to see you, by the way, Super. How are you doing? Everybody, say hello to our wonderful moderator. You're not doing anything? Weird. Hey, there they go. That should be fixed. So we have 2 projects that we're going to be working on today. The first one is going to be a track for this new IVN game that we are working on. This is this kind of like noirish mystery project. Very early on in development. I don't even have a name for the project yet. It has not been announced anywhere or anything like that. But the gist of the storyline is it's a kid investigating the murder of his mentor. And it's also sort of a romance deal. It takes place in New York City. So it's a lot of just like going around and like investigating this sort of corporate murder situation. I don't know. It's an interesting project. It's a good script though. But it's like a RenP IVN deal. So we're just kind of doing some like general background tracks for it. The one that we did one not too terribly long ago, I think last week, that was, what was it? Oh, this is one, actually, I don't even think I did this on stream. But I'll play it for you guys. This one is just very like, it's not like super deep, like, oh, this is this really specific situation with all this gameplay and stuff. They're just kind of general vibe tracks. So like the first 2 tracks that I'm working on right now, I already did the first one. The second one is the one that we're going to do today, are just kind of general like slice of life _ general purpose, just kind of something to have playing in neutral scenes. So that's the first thing that we're going to take a look at. This is the other track in this set that I did on Tuesday, when my voice was still recovering from my insane day of streaming on Monday. Hang on, let me get that going, and let me get this going. Okay, good. So it's just this is like a very 80s kind of a vibe. And this was just based on a reference that the dev sent. Oh, here, that's the bounce. Yeah, so just really, really simple little kind of 80s groove. And this was based on this reference. Um, I don't even know what this is from. This is just like a random YouTube track that he sent me. He's like, do something like this. I'm like, okay. And that's, it's funny. Sometimes we get games like Order 1 where the devs are super like, oh man, like, it's got to be, there's like a whole crazy story point that's happening here. Or there's all these enemies or that, like there's a ton of information about, oh, this track is for this very specific purpose. And I want it to feel, all these ways that are really kind of crunchy, and we can get into a lot of detail and talking about, oh yeah, well, let's use like this chord progression or this kind of melody to evoke, sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's literally just, hey, I don't really have a plan. I just need some tracks to sprinkle in under dialogue, under whatever. So I just want like some vibes, and here's a reference. So that's kind of what we're doing with a lot of the tracks on this game. Because I think a lot of it is just like, the old kind of point and click, like, oh, you're just going around talking to different people, learning about things, investigating, putting together clues, So yeah, we need a second sort of slice of life track in a similar vein, and this is our reference for it. So not nearly as 80s. Not even lo-fi. This is a very like sort of Thievery Corporation-ish situation. Very kind of like down-tempo electronica is what we would have called this back in the day. So yeah, it very much makes me think of like, I'm sure some of you guys will know this track, but this is like absolutely classic. You guys are not hip to Thievery Corporation, you should all go listen to Thievery Corporation. Yeah, so it's very like, it's lo-fi-ish, but it's more this like down-tempo kind of really layered. Oh yeah, we love Thievery Corp. Thievery Corp is fucking classic, man. I got to work with their drummer on a project, Jeff Franca. He's a homie. Yeah, so something very much in that vein, which honestly is like very, very, very up my alley. And when I just like make stuff for fun, usually it ends up kind of in that vein. So I don't even know what to call this track. I'm just going to call it Slice of Life, which is the laziest thing in the world, but that's fine. Yeah, it's like a little ambient. It's a lot of like world percussion sounds. So we're going to be definitely like some shaker, definitely some, darbuka or something like that on the HPD over here. We'll definitely be doing some like funky, tight James Brown sample type groove, and then just some nice keys. This track is going to come together very, very quickly. So, and I love that he sent this reference because I started listening to it and I'm like, oh man, I know how to make shit like that. So we're just going to start with Keyscape, get a general chord progression going. And I think we want to go whirly here. But the question is, which whirly? Do we want the 140? Oh, that's nice. Cool. Honestly, that right there super works. Let me check his reference again for a tempo. What is that, like 88 maybe? Right on the nose almost. Great. Okay, we'll go with 88, which is like a little peppy for something like this. But yeah, we'll have some nice lush pads in there. We'll build it around a whirly loop, and then it'll just be a lot of like layering in and out drums. Come back, chat. Chat went away. Sent you a little pack of stuff that might be relevant to this. Oh, neat. And I do love this change right here. Oh, let me get piano pulled up for you guys so you can see what I'm playing. Put LM1, yes. So like a little like E flat major 9. To C major 9. Cool. Let me see what Cake sent. What did Cake send? Drum loops? I don't need no drum loops. We make our own drum loops, mister. We play all of our drums. I appreciate it, though. No, I got a whole... We play, and then I love building kits like that in Superior Drummer, so that's what I'm gonna do. Appreciate it, but I don't use drum loops. Okay, let's get a loop of this figured out here. Well, that's nice. That felt pretty good. Like this. And then quantize those a little bit. Okay, cool. So that, I think, is a very nice starting point for a loop that we can start to build around. So let's loop that out. Target length here is going to be, honestly, 127. That's pretty perfect. Minute and a half. Yeah, no, if you're going to be like chopping snares and stuff out of snares and hats out of samples, yes, it's always very helpful to like hear the broader context of how they're going to sound. But I'm very partial to pulling up Superior Drummer and finding like a lovely old classic funk kit, and then like doing it more. I don't want to say real because it's all real, or it's all real. It's also all not real, if you know what I mean. Like, it's all just samples, but yeah, like get a nice not that we're going to be playing any toms, but this should be pretty all right. And then we'll like totally mute the room mic, and I'll play some shit, and then we'll sample from that essentially. Indeed, I will look at that in a few moments. All right. It's good, but I want a different snare sound. Come here. A little brighter snare, too. It's very... Ugh, no. God, no, not that. Yeah, okay, that's pretty nice. Yeah. Just that's probably all we're going to need. So let's quantize this just a little bit. We don't want to go overboard with quantizing because it doesn't need to be perfect. We want a little bit of like organic movement to it. But we should be able to just go, yeah, we'll go like 50%, 30 seconds. And then we're just going to bounce this, and boom, it's like we have our very own little sample here. Now let's find the exact spot that we want to use. Ooh, actually, before I do that, no, hang on. We want to, I don't want so much room mic in there. I want it nice and dry. Yeah. Cool. Now let's grab, like, probably Wolf compressor will be great for this, which we love. Nice. Whoa. Wait, what happened here? Ah. Okay, I'm just looking for a good, I want like a darbuka here, I think. Where is my darbuka or my doumbek? Can't remember what it's called on here. Not Drums of India. No, no, no. No, 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 none of that. Where is it? There it is. Darbuka. Great. Over on YouTube, Lenzo, is that a green screen? No, there's no green screen in here. This is just my studio. We want a new audio track. We want it to be stereo. Yes, we want it to be that input. Make sure this is good. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're basically, you guys know the process. We just build a bunch of loops and then we kind of, stretch it out. Neat. I like that groove there at the end. Not perfectly in time, but close enough. Quantize it just a little bit. Loop that out. Now let's get some shaker going on. Probably just a neutral shaker. Come back here, headphones. All right. Give me another new audio track. Left. Very good. Sure. That works. Probably that's fine. And actually, I know what we can do here. This is always a really fun trick. If you record a shaker like that, and you're just recording a loop, and you let it run for a little while extra, you can grab two samples out of it and layer them like that, and then you can pan them hard left and right. And then they sound extra super wide and awesome, because it's like you have two different shakers. Like the best little hack in the world. Okay, so now we're going to take all of our percussion-y guys here. We're going to bus them together. We're going to call this percussion. Going to add a bus. And make it purple, because we can. Now, I want this to have a very, we sampled this off of an old record vibe, right? So, first of all, we're going to compress it with kind of a dirty, ratty compressor. Then we are going to drop vinyl on it from iZotope, which is a great free plugin. Really helps mellow out the shakers. And then I'm actually going to use Abbey Road vinyl on top of this because Abbey Road vinyl has much better like noise crackle stuff than the free one from iZotope does. Now that sounds reasonably like an old vinyl sample. Cool. Okay. That all feels pretty nice. So now we just start thinking about like what else could go in here. I think some vocal chops have a spot here. Potentially there's a little bit of vocal stuff. Let's listen back to our reference again. It's kind of like a fluty thing going on. Definitely play some bass on it. Okay, cool. Well, let's get vocal chops, pad, some kind of a lead, and bass, I think, and that'll put us in really good shape here. Let's check out what these pads are all about from Cakes here. I do like some good pads. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, so these are cool. Thank you for sending them. I don't generally use any kind of sample stuff like this because the chord progression here is a little bit odd. So like chopping it to work super well is going to be a little funky. But we have a ton of stuff where you can get very similar vibes. Who do we want here? Probably something Native Instruments, I think, will be the move. So let's pull in Complete Control. And let it think for a while, which it loves to do, because Native Instruments software is super poorly optimized. There we go. Great. Let's check out like Analog Dreams. I feel like might be a good. Oh, that's nice. And what's fun here is our two chords. We have E flat, right? We can do the same thing, or we can find like cool, like this, which would work over both of those chords. So let's just play around with it for a little bit. sounds a bit much. I don't really like that, actually. Try that. That could work. No, too wobbly. And this is all very very 80s. Which isn't really the move here. What cloud supply? I want something real gentle. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, so there's kind of two little ideas there. That's kind of nice. I think that's pretty good, and then this whole first section is also pretty good. To right there, probably. Cool. Okay, that's a nice pad sound, and we'll treat it a little bit. We'll throw some cassette on it maybe, and there's a variety of things we can do to sort of character it up. So we'll do that, and that. It's totally fine for right now. Okay, there's our pad taken care of. That's a super cool sound, actually. Cool. Play some P-Bass. It's been a while since I've gotten to produce anything like this. I love doing stuff like this because it's easy, but it's also very satisfying. Oh, thanks, Papa. Good to see you. How's it going? Let's play some Bias. Yep. Boom. So we're going something in there. Yeah, I like... Yeah, that's nice. And then we'll throw that through Guitar Rig and get it real nice and subby. Goodness. No, not that. There we go. That's a nice tone. Sick. Okay. We got some bass. I also think a layer of real clear, shiny, real clean 8th string, technically, but not played like an 8th string necessarily. Just real nice vibes here. And actually, my husband is calling because he just got off work and I need to talk to him real quick. So 2 seconds, guys. Stick with me. We're going to go to BRB, and I will be right back in just a few minutes. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. All right, we're going to add a little guitar here. Guitar, yes. That input, very good. Let's get this guy tuned, first of all, and get nice. We'll probably just go with like our favorite clean preset here, nice and spacey. Yeah, something kind of like that. But let's make sure we're in tune. Very important. Because a lot of stuff in this style, like sitar is very popular, a very popular sort of sample. In stuff in this vibe. So I want something that feels kind of similar to that. Obviously, I don't own a sitar. much as I would love to. And it is a nightmare to keep this guitar in tune. There we go. That's close enough. Cool. There's some nice little moments in there. I like that. Very, very nice texture. Kind of a sitarish vibe. It's a nice tone. Okay. Guitar. Sorted. Now some vocal chops. And then I think we'll be ready to just sort of assemble this whole thing into something that sounds vaguely like a song. So let's go to Splice. And this one's going to be a little bit tricky because I have this kind of unusual chord change going on here, right? We're E flat to C major. So we're technically in two different keys here. We start in C minor. Or I guess, yeah, it would be more of a Lydian thing. So yeah, we technically start in the key of B flat, and then it goes up to the key of C. So finding one vocal sample or one sort of vocal chop vibe that's going to work over that is going to be a little bit interesting because I can't really just say, oh, I want key of E flat. I think the easiest thing to do is going to say key of C. Like that won't work at all. And genres, let's go. I guess probably ambient. Or no, there's a down tempo category. Beautiful. Or like chill out. Sure. Cool. What do we got here?
Reading all your letters.
I don't want anything with effects. I want only dry. That's going to work well. Not quite. See, that's the problem. That might work. Yeah, that works okay. Yeah, that's fine. You know, again, this is simple underscore-y type stuff, so we don't need to go too terribly crazy here. It's a really quiet sample. I like that, actually. Nice. Okay, that'll work. So let's organize here, and then we'll start kind of sculpting. Because I don't really think we need... I know it said a lead at some point. I don't think we really need a lead. That's the pad. That's nothing. That's all percussion. That is guitar. Yes, that's bass. That's the main groove. And this is our whirly. Very good. Okay, so vocals go at the top, followed by... Oh, come here. Pad, whirly, then guitar, then bass, then our groove comes down here. You all are purple, because percussion is purple, bass is blue, guitar is green. Keys are orange, because why not? And singing is scarlet. Sure. Okay, so now let's start sculpting this out into something that sounds like a song. So we're going to start it off with just our whirly, of course. Whoop. And I want a little more character on this whirly for sure. So there is a great preset in Volt Compressor called the Sad Whirly. That sounds so good. Let's put something weird on it. Let's put like a little spring reverb. Let's put a little spring reverb on it. Nice. So then we're going to have just the Darbuka come in. This is going to be a vibe. Very good. And we'll add a bunch of like cymbal-y, polishy stuff at the top. Don't worry. Yeah. Honestly, that's fine. That's all this needs to be. So now we're just going to add some polish over the top of it, some little crashy, white, noisy kind of things. It's actually, I always use the same crashes. Let's check out what's up on Splice. Give me like some, give me some white noise. Something white noise-ish, I feel like is going to be good here. Yeah, like that kind of shit. 100%. Yeah. Beautiful. Very good. Who else we got here? That's vinyl noise. That's a little too intense. Yeah, totally. That's a nice little riser. Whoa. Cool. Okay. Let's get a bus going here for all these guys. We're just going to call this Fax. Give me a bus. Very good. You're already pink. We like that. That's very convenient. Let's make sure that didn't screw anything up, because it might have. It didn't. Yay. Then we're going to give you Black Hole, of course. Now let's just sort of... It's okay. Welcome in, Jake. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, so this is what I'm thinking for the main theme for Order 1. I've already got a good start on it. I'm thinking like we take everything we've been doing and we just throw it totally out the window and we make it like you're visiting a really relaxing spa. Right? I think something like this really sells the vibe. Doesn't this sound like a horror game? Certainly sounds like a horror game to me. What's up, Slavka? Good to see you, buddy. It wouldn't be classic 90s vibes without a little finger symbol in there. Absolutely critical. Ding, right there. Yes, that is the current plan. And we're almost done with this one. No, Jake, I'm saying this is for Order 1. This is for your game. It's perfect. It's like there's not nearly enough sitar in the game. Oh. Lovely. Now let's do a little quick master. Great. That is all that needs to be. That is 100% all that needs to be. It does not need to be any more complicated than that. Okay, great. Done. I'm very happy with that. Boom. Jump back over here momentarily. It keeps getting better until, yep, exactly, Andy. 100%. It's like, oh, well, it sounds like Thievery Corporation, and so we're happy with it. Okay, so next order of business, pun intended, is this next track for Order 1. Now, you guys know, I'm sure at this point, plenty about this game. Let's see here. Okay, great. So, as I was saying, we are potentially, the developers of Order 1 are potentially looking at, thanks, Andy, potentially looking at talking to some publishers. I think there's one in particular who may be interested. We don't know. It's very exciting. Publishers are great. We love publishers, but we need to send them a demo, and so we need a track that will function as a placeholder for just kind of a menu theme for the game. And also, you know, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to just make something, you know, just for the sake of making it, just purely as a placeholder. You know, you have royalty-free music and stuff like that. So there is another song or another piece that will ultimately be potentially a number of different variations of this piece, but basically the way the game is structured is you go through the different sectors. It's like semi-open world on this space station, right? And as you go through these different sectors, there's like a checkpoint area that are basically these cloning pods. Your character is a clone, and you respawn by like being printed into a new body. So these are essentially the checkpoint areas and kind of the save points and the safe points in the game, where I'm assuming you can like do inventory management and build management and all that kind of stuff. You fight, get through a given sector, check in a cloning pod, and then that's where you kind of can access the next area. So the idea is that we're going to start on this base track for the cloning pods, which I think every cloning pod in between the different sectors of the game will ultimately maybe have references musically to either the sector you just left or to the next sector. That could get a little bit interesting. That was something we had discussed initially. But the idea here is that the cloning pod track also should work pretty reasonably well as a stand-in for a menu theme, just while we, you know, just for this initial sort of demo. So we've got kind of a dual purpose track going on here. But as always, we have excellent references, which were just sent today. So let's pull up something here. Okay, there's one. There's like a lot of, okay, and then there's one. Okay. So let's jump back over here. So this is our first reference here. I'm going to stick these in the sheet also, just because I can. Okay, sure. Very on the nose with that tritone. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's very much in the direction that I was kind of envisioning. I already have kind of an idea that I want to start with on this that I was thinking about last night. And then our third reference, let me copy this one into the doc. 1 second. Good. And then there's a third reference here, one from Jake. Yeah. I like this a lot. I'm leaning in between this, because that's like very 80s kind of slasher vibes. And then this is like a little more modern and a little bit more, it's less like horror-y and more calm. And I think there's a good balance to be had in between those two. Okay, let's get a session pulled up here. But I already have an idea for like a bass synth kind of a thing that I want to play around with right off the bat. So let me find our folder here. Very good. We're going to call this Cloning Pods. Probably like 112-ish would be a fine starting point here. Okay, so textures. Obviously, we're going to want a big, cool pad. That's probably going to come from Ethereal Earth. I'm thinking this might be one of the, and you guys, Jake, Slavka, you guys can chime in. This might be one of the only tracks where we don't have the black hole, which I feel like will kind of differentiate it nicely. Nothing too crazy. Simple should sound great while looping. Yes, absolutely. 100%. No, this is, well, and I'll pull up kind of my own reference here as well for what I did on Ares for the Armory, which serves this exact purpose in Ares, where it's the like sort of checkpoint, check-in room where you can get out of combat for a second and, you know, deal with your inventory and shit. Which is, where is it? Facility Ambient Armory. Here we go. Obviously, this game is much less horror and much more just like stealth. But yeah, that's what we did for Ares. So I think probably less rhythmic here. I don't think any necessarily drums, more atmospheric. But that level of kind of sonic complexity. So, yeah, for sure. Okay, good. Well, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. I liked it too. Cool. So we'll have Ethereal Earth. Do you feel like I feel like leaving the black hole sound out is kind of a good idea, I guess? Because like that has such a distinct horror-y vibe to it, and if it's going to be present in a lot of the combat and ambiance when you're out in the world, I feel like that's a good way to differentiate in the cloning pod versus out of the cloning pod. Its tape would be more deafened. Yeah, sure, potentially. We'll fly it in and we'll see. We'll see what ends up shaking out with it. Such a fantastic sound. Cool. Okay. Then I'm thinking, I really like, there's like a harp-ish sound in that Resident Evil reference that I like a lot. I don't necessarily think harp per se, but maybe a really dark, like Double Felt Grand from Keyscape could be really nice here. Something like The Deep. This is such a great sound. Yeah, something in there. That's a nice texture. Really? Sure, yeah. Well, and that's a lot of uh okay, yeah, we can try to do something like that. That starts to feel very feels sci-fi, but it feels like happy, mysterious kind of vibes. Or more like pensive, perhaps. Yeah, I gotcha. It's pretty, you know, it's kind of weaving in and out of really classic progressions with some interesting, yes, very melancholy. That's a good word for it. Okay, cool. Well, the thing that I'm kind of curious about here, just to keep it in the same kind of wheelhouse as everything else, is this is the idea that I had last night. Where is my Moog? There's my Moog. Come here, Moog. And give me I think that as a pulsing figure. That was kind of my idea here. Oh. having this be a very gentle sort of base for the whole thing. Maybe not even that intense on that last one. Yeah. That's very lovely. Now let's get some ethereal earth going on here. We love ethereal earth. We always do. Let's see. Oh yeah, Eternity's a great patch. And we want to get... Honestly, we're just going to add Black Hole on Ascend here. Like so, because we're going to have basically everybody going into this track, I'm pretty sure. So here's this. We'll just go mix 100%. And then Mini, yes. Ethereal Earth, yes. These are the kinds of sounds that we're toying with here. Yeah. I think that is going to be nice. And we'll get that dissonance from... We're going to a few different places harmonically here, so... And then we'll go to... And then... And then... Yeah, okay. I see how this is going to come together. That's probably a little, that's maybe a little bit too dissonant. Let's think about this here. What's a nice theme? Yep. Not quite. Not quite. I need to click. That's pretty nice. Even these strikes out a little bit here. It does. Yeah, we'll clean that up. Don't worry. Okay, let's clean these up a little bit here. Good, yes. Very good, yes. You guys scoot backwards. You guys also scoot backwards. Good. Whoop. Hey, you should reset, mister. Why are you not resetting? Let me get back around there. It's a bit dark. Let's try Shimmer Wash here. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a fun idea, Slavka. Sure. Absolutely. Come here. Pitch. Zoop. I can't do it with individual notes, unfortunately, unless I have like multiple instances of the synth, which usually isn't a great idea. But we can definitely do this. Sort of. Because the release tails are going to make it a little funky. Here, I wonder... Yeah, because the release tails are going to be weird. And I don't think I can change the amount of pitch bend. Yeah, there's unfortunately not... I like that idea a lot, but there's not a really easy way to do that without, like, printing a bunch of stuff, or one of the... Yeah, and you can't do that with this library, unfortunately. You can only do individual note pitch bend with either if you have multiple instances of the same synth, or if you have direct control over the oscillators, which we don't here. This isn't really that kind of a synth. Like you can do that on like a Moog because you have direct control of the pitch of each oscillator. Or actually, you can't even do that on a Moog because you only have octave. But you could automate the tuning of it to kind of get that kind of an effect. But this is kind of like a wavetable synth situation where it's just samples. It's like actual audio samples that are being blended together to create that sound. So you can't have individual notes that bend, and even if you use pitch bend across the whole thing, once you release the pitch bend to play the next chord, it resets the release tails of what was just being bent. So it doesn't quite... I think in MIDI 2.0, you're supposed to be able to do essentially that, like pitch bend on individual notes, and there's supposed to be more tools to implement that. But that's okay because it's looping. Cool. So there's our black hole sound again. Let's first of all chuck him into the giant reverb. And let's EQ it a little bit so that it is like a little more distant feeling, sort of room next door. Just getting Pro Q. Cool. So let's loop this out a little bit. And what does that give us lengthwise? That's 142. That's probably pretty good for something like this. And then what we can do is just have our cutoff each time it resets, just get a little bit higher and higher so that it kind of opens up as things go along. And we'll start without the piano at all. And then like this last time through, the cutoff will be much more open. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so like it'll start with the piano being much, much more simple. And then that main kind of melody will come in the second time through. Loop out our black hole sounds here. Like so. Very good. And then probably have the Moog just kind of be static the whole time. Just that. Yeah. And then when we get back over here, the pad might be a little bit too open. We'll see. But I'm thinking like... Yeah. Yeah. Let's clean some of this up, though. And then here, over this A flat, we want to keep it technically major, but it's not really going to feel major. We want to go like that. Cool. Excellent. Okay. Let's fix that weird little libert on the Moog there. Come here. Where is that? There we go. Perfect. Blah. Not at all what I asked you to do. Get out of here. I want you to loop the region, not the note. Studio One, calm down. There we go. Yeah, definitely less of that black hole. Like it's nice in there as a real subtle texture, but it's like taking up a lot of sonic real estate. Um, I also want to clean up this piano a little bit. Get a little ice here. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you guys, I'm sitting here, I'm like, does this need to be more? Yeah, I don't really think it does. I mean, there's an argument for having at least like a little bit of here, throw something like this in. Something like that, but like pitched way down and like reversed and like real quiet as just a little moment of texture in there. Come here. Just for grins, we'll go super massive on this one. Because we can. Honestly, that's sick. Real subtle in there. This cutoff. This is driving me crazy. The automation is very clear. There is no... Hang on, sorry. I need to clean a couple of things up here. There's no world in which this cutoff should not be working, and it's like not doing what it's supposed to do, and it's very aggravating. There we go. Is that somehow having an effect? This might just be an automation bug in Studio One because it's not. I'm trying to automate the filter on this synth to like open up a little bit, but it's not like listening to it. Is it just happening too fast? Is that the fucking problem? So annoying. There we go. I mean, I'm not getting bored of it as we're listening to it over and over and over again. So I feel like that's a good sign. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it necessarily needs to be a whole lot more than this. It's just like nice piano. It's got some nice movement to it. Fits the vibe. It's not too over the top. It feels calm enough. It has a very calm outside of the storm, not calm before the storm, but you were out in a crazy, blizzard or whatever, and you've like ducked into a place that's not warm, but it's not actively a blizzard. You're in a shed for a second and you can kind of rub your hands and collect your thoughts, is sort of the vibe that it's giving me. So wailing noises, rising, falling quickly. A wailing noise, like an organic screamy kind of a noise, like the elephant thing we were doing in the other track, or like an alarm riser, like more synthetic or organic, I guess is my question. Kind of horror scream, but very distant. Yeah. Let's find something on Splice. Oh, that's honestly pretty sick. But like real. That's lovely. Sorry. Oh yeah, that's a nice little texture in there too. Mr. Piro Beats, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. I like that. We are past feedback, Mr. Piro Beats, so sorry. We are working on scoring a sci-fi horror VR game. Thank you. Yes, Valhalla is supermassive. Yes, it is placeholder for the main menu, but it is for a like checkpoint area also. Maybe we go even lower here, 24, 2 octaves down. Okay. A few little extra textures. Yeah, I don't think, guys, this needs to be any more than it already is. I think it's nice. It's just nice texture. It's nice, nice, pleasant, super dark ambience. I think it sells the vibe. Jake, Slavka, any final thoughts? We do have the developers in here with us, hanging out in chat, watching along, guiding my hand. It's great. Excellent. Okay. Well, I will go ahead and I will render it down. And, obviously as we get into like the rest of the tracks, if we want to alter this for the cloning pods, yeah, so variations, I think the more we get into this stuff, I think the variations, it'll be good once we can kind of play test things. Yeah, it'll be either stems or for pause menu, same as this, but less tracks. Oh, okay. Yes. What do you mean variations on the cloning pods stuff specifically, or for the demo, like for a pause menu? Because yeah, I can very easily, the pause menu could be any combination of this stuff. Like the pause menu could just literally just be this, or it could be just the pad. Like that'd be a nice placeholder for the pause menu. And the piano. Main menu, cloning room, and then I'm assuming pause, yeah. Variations of this same track. Okay. Sure. So then in that case, what do you hear this what do you hear this as it stands right now? Do you hear this as main menu or cloning? Like, I'm trying to parse out, do we need to add more to get to a cloning pod? Because I think this, as it is right now, can work well for main menu and pause, but I'm not sure where the cloning pod version. Seems main menu for sure. Do you think the cloning pod version then should have more stuff or less stuff? And if so, what kind of stuff? Because the next thing I would start thinking about adding is some really gentle percussion, like a, kind of a filter sweepy, like we were doing this on the sneak track the other day. That real kind of stuff. High frequency heartbeat pulse like synth. Okay, interesting. High frequency pulse like. What I get out of that description is I don't think what you mean. Because that to me is something going like meow 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 meow, which I know is not what you're trying to say. Here, let me do what I would kind of naturally do to lush this out a little bit more. Give me impact. Yeah, like atmospheric chill, I think has some nice, yeah, definitely. Bear with me for a second. You're gonna get very scared, but it's okay. Trust me. We know what we're doing here. Oh, heart monitor. Okay, sure. Okay, now we take this and we throw it through wires, because of course we do. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is happening? Oh, right, we need to do this. That's why. Oh, yes. I appreciate that, Piero. Yeah, no, we definitely rest the ears. But it's my full-time job over here, doing all this silliness. So, I know of what you speak. It's very important. Now we want auto filter. Yes. And we want that to tilt EQ like that. And 24 dB band pass. And then a huge delay. Yeah, so this is sort of the this is sort of where I would reach next. And the heart rate thing I've actually used on one of the Aries tracks. I used an actual just a heart rate monitor. Again, it's going to sound crazy for a second, but bear with me. You'll be like, what the hell is happening? Okay, turn quiet. Jesus Christ. Oh, more pause between two notes. Okay. I think it should either be consistent or faster. That feels a little odd to me. Because that doesn't, that puts it in a rhythm where it doesn't feel like a heart rate at all. Like, I would either just have it be 1. That kind of just happens every so often. Well, an actual heart rate monitor just goes beep, 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 beep. A heart rate monitor doesn't typically go bop, 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 but that's like a heartbeat will do that. But a heart rate monitor is just consistent. Like I have a sample of one somewhere around here. Where the hell would that have gotten off to? Oh my goodness. Holy raid. How's it going, Chris? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for popping in. What a ginormous raid. We're locked in working on this horror game, horror sci-fi VR game. How's it going, everybody? An enormous raid of 24. Very generous, man. Thank you. How was stream over there? You got to give the big old shout out to Chris. Shout out, Chris. Yes, no, we're very locked in at the moment. What's up, guys? Welcome in, Raiders. How's it going? Elrondule? Army raid, absolutely. Made a pretty banging chorus on this metal track. I love it. Fantastic, man. Richie Rich, thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, so this is context behind this track. It's very like minimal. It's very, very atmospheric. So the one that we're working on right now is a variation that is going to be for kind of like a checkpoint area in this game. So horror sci-fi game called Order 1. It's an extremely cool project, and I will go ahead and link you guys to the Kickstarter, which is running for just a few more days here. But I'll show you guys the trailer real quick as well, since we've got a whole crew of folks in here. We'll pin this so y'all can go check it out. If anyone is into VR, which I certainly am. But this is the trailer for the game. But no, so the whole game takes place on a space station that is orbiting a black hole. And semi-open world, there's like 8 different main sectors that you play through. No worries, man. You are all good. Thanks again for the raid, man. Very, very kind of you. I appreciate it. But no, so there's sort of 8 different open sectors around the space station, and in between each one, you check into a cloning pod, the character that you play at as a clone, and you respawn by kind of getting a new body created for you. And so we're working on this track that is basically just the ambiance or ambient music that plays when you are in that cloning pod area. But it is an extraordinarily cool project. Hang on, I have to text my husband something real quick that I just remembered. But yeah, and a few of the developers, Jake, as well as, oh yeah, it's called Intro Fighters, man. It's super fun. Anybody who is in here rating, if you guys just type anything in chat, you will join the combat going on screen. Literally type absolutely anything. And you can also go ! Emote and change the little emote that you are, which is pretty fun. Yeah, you can type literally a single letter, and it will enter you into the battle. But yeah, no, it's a very, very cool project. I am doing a bunch of the music for it. We're also going to be working, it looks like, with Pavel Blaszczak, who is an extremely talented Polish composer. He did the music for The Witcher. He did the music for he did Witcher. He did Dying Light. He did Dead Island 1 and 2. He did EVE Online. So he's written for some incredibly cool projects. So he's going to be handling like the main theme of the game and like the boss tracks and stuff. Yeah, I don't know why there were green squares all of a sudden. Maybe we're having a technical issue, but regardless, we still get to smack the crap out of each other. Oh, there it goes. Now it's working. Yeah, so Pavel's going to be writing some stuff. I'm going to be writing a bunch of stuff, doing a bunch of combat music and atmospheric music and stuff. So that is what we are working on here. And since this is like a sort of medical adjacent area, conceptually speaking, it's this cloning pod. We're trying to dial in a good sort of like a heart rate monitor-esque sound. That is what we were in the middle of when y'all stopped by. So Jake and Slavka, who are the developers, and are in chat. That would be 2 notes faster, with a nice pause in between them. More frequent than that? And this is one of my favorite things about being able to do this stuff on Twitch is very often we will get to have the devs or the artist in here with us, being extremely collaborative, which is really, really, really helpful. Thanks, Metal Andy. I appreciate it. Me too. Well, so this is kind of like this checkpoint area, right, where you can stop and rest for a minute, manage your inventory, change your build, all that kind of stuff. So you won't be in active combat here. But yeah, I mean, there could be a flatline sound that plays if you're defeated in the course of normal combat. Yeah, we'll sync them back in the mix more than that. Okay, well, what do you think, Jake? What should we layer? Like the next thing I would probably reach for personally would be like an ARP, like some kind of an ARP vibe. So like, let's pull up the SEM. SEM has some really nice sci-fi-ish ARPy madness. Oh, hello. Thank you. How you guys doing? Okay. Mm, yeah. I don't know if I'll be done in 10. I'd be done in like half an hour probably. Okay. Well. Okay. Love you. Sorry. Side conversation with the husband. They are one of his best friends is staying with us for a couple of days at the moment, and they're going out to dinner, and they're curious if I'm going to be done in time to join them. I'm like, I don't. Maybe in half an hour. I don't know. But I think if we can get this nailed here, obviously not something quite that crazy, although maybe if it were really like. That's kind of cool. Let's play with that for a second. Oh yeah, Sam is great. Yeah, no, hey, give me a second, guys. It's not just going to go in straight like that. Of course not. That would be crazy. There's a whole world of things that we can do to change it up. Aw, Lost State. Thanks, buddy. Good to see you, man. How are you? Glad you could make it in. Glowbound, how's it going? So many new friends today. I appreciate the sub though, Lost State. That's very, 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 very kind of you. Thank you again for having me on the podcast on Monday. Everybody in chat, go check out Lost State Studios on YouTube. We did a very fun interview on Monday where I rambled a bunch about my career and music and a bunch of other silly things. Glowbound, by all means. I love questions. I might have an answer. I might not. We'll have to see. Stripping through cleaning the whole house and doing some stuff on the computer. Indeed. That's good. Okay, Slavka, Jake, what do you think of that? It's still like a little bit glitchy, but I think it meshes really well with the sort of percussion thing and makes it feel just a little more. And it has kind of a like, really small amount of cowbell. It does lean kind of, for me, it leans into the imagery of like a medical control panel of like beeps and boops kind of a vibe, which I don't dislike. Yeah, I mean, we certainly have no shortage of other fantastic sounds in here. Glitchy is Gucci. That could work. Can you try to remake a song with only sounds you have on your PC? The song has no words. The one before Bouncing Ball. Okay. Which one was that? Bit Pop? Ooh, sure. Yeah, that's really nice, actually. Yeah, good call. I scrolled right past that one. Can I make a song, remake a song with only sounds you only have on your PC? So hypothetically, I could do that, Glowbound. I have like 4 terabytes of sounds on my computer, so including all of the ones that you're hearing right now. So kind of, I'm kind of already doing that, to be honest with you. Let's. Oh, the Arteria stuff is great, man. Let's band past this a little less aggressively. I mean, like I said, Glowbound, that's exactly what we're doing right now. This is pretty much exactly what's going on. This song has no words, and it is made exclusively out of songs that are already on my computer. I am a professional producer and composer, after all, so I have a lot of sounds. Well, that's true. It's not a remake. What exactly do you mean by remake, I suppose? Like just like make like an Ed Sheeran tune or something? This is yes, but recreate what? What song? This is where I really wish Studio One had modulators like you do in Ableton, because I would love to just throw a modulator on this high pass here, or this low pass part of the filter, and just kind of have it like do this, but we're just going to do it with automation because, that's also fine. I mean, that's certainly possible for me to do, Glowbound, and maybe someday could be kind of fun. But just to let you know, and I guess since we have a bunch of new friends in here anyways, I can do my spiel real quick so you guys kind of know what the deal is. Hi, I'm Nathan Scott. Thank you guys for tuning in. And thanks again to Chris Bedden for the raid. It's very kind. But I am a full-time professional producer, composer, multi-instrumentalist, mix master engineer. Most of the work that I do here on my stream is scoring for indie video games. So that is exactly what we were working on today. This is for a game called Order 1, very cool stealth action horror VR game. You can check out the Kickstarter in the pinned comment and chat. But yeah, my stream is kind of all about doing. Thank you for the follow, Hive. I appreciate it. But yeah, a lot of my stream is just like doing work for clients with clients. And Glowbound. Very kind of you. Boom, 560. We love it. Oh my goodness, another one? Hype Train. A subscribe. Goodness gracious. Thank you, Hive. That's very, very kind of you. Very, very kind of you. You're the best. Everybody show some love for Hive in the chat. So many notifications. This is great. Yeah, so that's what we spend most of our time doing on stream. I also do like artist production. We have a couple of different records in with different artists that we're working on. We'll do we will do some commercial production. We have a couple of tracks actually that are going to go out hopefully for placement on a couple of TV shows. So yeah, we also do feedback on Mondays. If you are also a producer and you want want somebody to like listen to your mix or listen to the song that you've written and give you some professional feedback on how it sounds and how, what you can do with it, all that kind of stuff. That is usually we'll do a couple at the beginning of every stream, but Feedback Mondays are the day for those. Yeah, so I'm live pretty much every day, Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern time in the U.S., 8 p.m. Central European time. So, Oh my goodness. Lost State. Goodness gracious. This is just craziness. Lost State, you get a huge old shout out for that. Thank you very much for the 5 gifted, man. Very, very, very generous of you. Everybody. Lost State Studios. I can type, I promise. Everybody give some love in chat to Lost State for the very, very kind and generous gift of 5 subs to chat there. Indeed, man. You're the best. I really appreciate it. Sample, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. It's been a bit. I demand W's in chat for Lost State. A lead pad. I like that idea a lot. The question is, who do we reach for? Ooh, let's go Augmented Woodwinds. Yes, W's in chat for Lost State. Oh, that's nice. I do like randomly discovering money. Another gifted. You guys. You guys are way too nice. I have no idea. It just says anonymous. We've got a crazy hype train in here right now. I kind of love the sound that I just found. This is from Augmented Woodwinds, which I love the augmented stuff from Arturia. Let's play around with this for a second. This is a nice kind of leadish, patty-ish kind of thing. Yeah. Cool. I like that a lot. There's nice little lead pad vibes. They got the augmented stuff from Arturia is so good. I'm kind of bummed that I don't have there's one called the Augmented Young King, which is like a really interesting East Asian instrument. That's super cool. And I've heard some demos of it. It sounds amazing. Jake, Slavka, I think we're in pretty dang good shape here, personally. Because we've got that lead layer, we've got the ARP layer, we've got the little like alarm thing, and then we've got some percussion. So like main menu, right? There's that pause menu. Just that. And then cloning bay. V1 cloning bay. Sick. Great. Okay. Yep. I'm quite pleased with it as well. Well, on that note, I will get those bounced out for you guys later on this evening. But on that note, we're going to jump back over here because I am going to try to go make it to dinner. Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, look, we got a hype chest. Oh, wow, we got a new emote. A little blinky heart guy. Woo! We love it. But let's go raid somebody, guys, because I'm going to try to get out of here and make it to dinner. But let's. Does anybody have Lost State? Who should I go raid? Somebody give me somebody to go raid. Somebody cool who's like also like making beats and doing the whole thing. Because we got a good crew in here at the moment, and I don't want to. We don't want the fun to end yet, right? I certainly don't. To take me back to Twitch thing. Oh, wait, I'm already there. Great. Let's go raid Protostar. We haven't... Yes, yeah, I love Protostar. Yeah, Protostar is a homie, for sure. We'll go raid Protostar. That'll be fun. All right, well, on that note, thank you guys very, very much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, he's great, man. We're going to go raid Protostar, but yeah, you know, it's been a good time. Thank you, Jake and Slavka. Go check out Order 1 on Kickstarter. But I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central European time, with more tracks and more fun. So I hope you guys have a great night, evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you're at. And I'll see you tomorrow.